कालीकूर्चसमायुक्तमायाकूटोपदेशतः प्रणवार्तप्रबोधिन्यौ नमामि गुरुपादुके श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। क्रीं मात्रे नमः। नमः सदसे वासुदेवेन्द्रयोगीन्द्रं नत्वा ज्ञानप्रदं गुरुं मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय तत्त्वबोधोऽभिधीयते। गुरुभ्यो नमः। मात्रे नमः. Namaskaram to one and all. Today we are continuing on with our Tattvabodha series, and in this series we have seen the definition of Atma as it is not this, it is not this, it is not this, it is apart from this. Like that we saw so many tattvas, we saw so many things, starting from the Stula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, Karana Sharira, and then the three avasthas or the three states of being, namely Swapna, Shushubdi and Jagrata. And then we saw what are the various karmendriyas, what are the various jnanendriyas, how do they constitute the three bodies, and how ajnana is constituting the karana sarira. Then we saw what are the pancha pranas, and then we saw what are the pancha koshas. So after seeing this, after seeing all these things and knowing what they are, the first statement was that I am not all of this, the Atma is not all of this, it is apart from this, apart from this, apart from this. Now there is one particular shloka given at the end of this before going into the enquiry of what is the nature of Atma, what is Satchidananda Swarupa. We will see that, but before that, this entire video is dedicated for practices of Vedanta, how to contemplate and how to use this knowledge that we have gained so far. We have gained the knowledge about the body, we have gained the knowledge about the three bodies, that is the physical gross body, subtle body, and then the causal body. And then we learnt about the five sheaths, which once again constitute these three bodies in various ways. And finally we saw that the three avasthas in which we can be in. So all these things, how are we going to separate ourselves from this? How are we going to practically understand that we are Atma? So we are going to see these things. And before I go into that, let me tell you something. Whatever I am going to say in this video, whatever contemplation exercises and the preparatory exercises for contemplation that I am going to give in this video, it is entirely based on my experience, and it is entirely based on my experiments with Vedanta. I will not claim that I am the ultimate teacher of Vedanta or I know it completely or anything like that, but as a co-student of Vedanta, like I told you at the very start of the video series itself, for that matter anything that I speak about the Dharma or any scriptures that I am teaching, it is not even from the position of a teacher, but it is from the position of a 10th standard or a 10th grade student who is taking home based tuitions for first grade, second grade students. So that is the level in which it is. So whatever practices I am going to give in this video, you can do your own experiments with these practices. One thing I can assure you is this will not lead to anything bad, because unlike Kundalini Yoga, there is no negative side to Jnana Yoga, except one thing, that is the Vidya Ahankara or the Vidya Garva that may happen, the intellectual ego that may arise. Other than that one thing, there is no negative side, like if you contemplate too much you will become something. There is nothing like that. But if you do Kundalini Yoga wrongly, certain things may happen to your body. If you are doing Hatha Yoga wrongly, something may happen to your body. But Jnana Yoga does not happen like that, because the very process of Jnana Yoga itself is the achievement. It is not separate. For example, if you are doing Karma Yoga, the Karma Yoga that you are doing is not the liberation, but everything that you realize, every step that you realize in Jnana Yoga, every concept that you contemplate in Jnana Yoga is considered as the ultimate realization of that particular element of that particular tattva as not Atma, so that you are getting liberated from that. For example, if you are contemplating about your physical body, you are being liberated from the physical body. That is the beauty of Jnana Yoga. And we will see what is this shloka that I was speaking about. Madiyam Sariram Madiyaha Pranaha Madiyam Manascha मदीयबुद्धिर्मदीयम् अज्ञानम् इति स्वेनैव ज्ञायते तद्यथा मदीयत्वेन ज्ञातं कटककुण्डलग्रहादिकं स्वस्माद्भिन्नं ततः पञ्चकोशादिकं स्वस्माद्भिन्नं मदीयत्वेन ज्ञानमात्मा न भवति. So this is the shloka for contemplation. Madiyam shariram, my body. Madiyam means mine, it belongs to me. Madiyam shariram, my body. Madiyaha pranaha, my pranas, that is my vital airs that I have, the vital forces that I have in the body, like pranobana vyanodana samanaha, they are mine. Madiyam manascha, my mind. Madiya buddhir, my intellect. Madiyam ajnanam, my ignorance. Not only my intellect but also my ignorance. Iti, all these things. Svenaiva, Svenaiva, it is Svena eva, that is Svena eva means by oneself alone. So it is by oneself alone. Jnayate, known, it is only known by oneself. Just like tad yatva tad yata, how is that? How do you know this? Madiyatvena jnatam, how do you say that? Like simply you are saying this is mine, it is also known as mine, similar to kataka, kundala, grahadikam, just like the bangle, here, earrings, house, etc. that you are wearing, or that you are having, you are saying it is mine. Swasmanam, from myself. Binnam, swasmat, so it is different from me. It is mine, but it is different from me. Tata, therefore, or so also. Panchakosha, the 5 sheaths and so on. Okay. Swasmat, from myself, it is binnam, separate. And then Madiyatvena, we are considering it as mine. Jnatam or jnatam, it is known, and Atma na bhavati, it is not Atma. So this is the contemplation. The contemplation is that my mind, when you say my mind, my body, okay, and my intellect, my ignorance, my prana, when you are saying all these things, it is similar to saying my headphone, my spectacles, my house, my computer. That is, these things belongs to you, but they are not you. Similarly, you need to contemplate, because this we are able to contemplate. For example, if I remove my glasses, I am still myself without the glasses. So this belongs to me, but this is not me. Similarly, this belongs to me, but this is not me. That is how we need to contemplate. That is the sadhana of this particular shloka. And we will see how this sadhana can be done at various levels with certain preparatory exercises. The first preparatory exercise for doing this jnana yoga, this contemplation, you can do this 24/7, that is different. But if you want to do it forcefully, or rather if you want to do it with a lot of potential, then this is how the setup needs to be. You should not be hungry. Also, you should not be overexcited about something. You should not be very sleepy. So these are the 3 conditions that are required. If you are hungry, then the identification with your body will be more. If you are overexcited about something, for example, you are about to go to a very important function, or you are about to meet somebody very important, or you are about to go on a date. So while you are traveling, you should not contemplate this, because your identity will be more with your mind at that time. Thirdly, you should not be feeling sleepy, very sleepy. You can do this before you sleep, but you should not be feeling over sleepy while you are doing the contemplation. because of one simple reason: if you are sleepy, then your concentration towards the contemplation will simply slip out, it will fizzle out. Even otherwise, Vedanta is supposed to be a dry subject. It is a misconception. Most people say when this Vedanta philosophy is being taught, it is sleep inducing. It is not true, basically, but this misconception is there. So if you are feeling sleepy, you will add weightage to this misconception, you will make this true by sleeping when you are contemplating. So finally you will associate, if I am not feeling sleepy, okay, open up Tattvabodha videos, we will sleep. So I am not giving you a sleeping pill here, I am giving you a waking up pill through Vedanta. So please don't use this as a sleeping pill. So don't do this contemplation exercise when you are feeling sleepy. So we have discussed the various conditions required for doing this contemplation, and this is only for starting with. Till your mind gets attuned to this pattern of thinking, till you are comfortable, you get comfortable with this Vedantic sadhana, you need to practice these conditions. After that, slowly it will become your 24/7 thought process, and that is the purpose of Vedanta. So how do we do this? Basically, there is a small preparatory exercise which I found is very useful in calming down the mind in order to contemplate this, because the whole process is going to happen between our mind and our intellect, and mind is usually controlled, thoughts are usually controlled by breath. This is a very simple yogic technique that we are going to do, and this is called as Nadi Shuddhi. And this Nadi Shuddhi is a process which is used to cleanse your nadis, and by cleansing your nadis you are deepening your breath pattern. In order to do this, this is the mudra. This may be offensive to some people, I am sorry, but this is the mudra. So here these two fingers together and these two fingers together, the middle finger is pointing out. So from in this mudra, close your left nostril, take a breath through your right nostril, close your right nostril and leave the breath out through your left nostril. And while doing this, you need to start with breaths of 2 seconds length. For example, you need to start like this and then double it, that is that is 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, and then 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and you can increase it like 2 2 like this and go as far as you can. 32 to 36 seconds count is the optimum that you can reach normally. If you are practicing other pranayamas and if your breath pattern is already having very long inhaling and very long exhaling pattern, well and good, but still when you start this practice, you have to start this practice with 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 1 1 2 1 2 3 times. Each increase of the 2 count is done for 3 times, that is like this. I went up to 10 count. So like this you need to do this practice, increasing your breath pattern, and you must do this with until you reach your longest breath at the current moment. And once you reach your longest breath, you need to go for 9 cycles. For example, you know for a fact that 10 is your maximum count. While you are doing 8 itself, you will know that 10 is going to be my maximum count. So when you are doing the 10 count, that is 10 count inhale and 10 count exhale, what you need to do is you need to do the 10 count inhale and 10 count exhale for 9 times and end the practice. So once you have reached the 10 count, that is going to be your maximum count for the day. You know that that is the maximum length of breath that you can continuously take. So you do that for 9 times and then close your eyes and take 2 or 3 deep breaths just to center yourself. And by doing this practice, you can see that your entire body is becoming vibrant. Your entire prana is becoming vibrant. And this practice is specifically geared towards the pranamaya kosha, because without stimulating the pranamaya kosha, this is in my experience, once again all these things are through my experiments. So what I have done is, like, I've tried doing contemplation about Vedanta by thinking about the Vakyas, and then by thinking about the various Vakyas in various textbooks and how they come together in life. What is my experience about this? All these things I've been thinking. But if my prana is not properly activated, then there is a lull in the thought pattern. That is, the thought pattern will start like this. Suddenly it will be like, yeah, I am not the body. Yeah, I am not the mind. It will go down like this. So in order to avoid this from happening, we are making our prana sharira vibrant. But the aim, this is not a Kriya Kundalini practice, so please do not concentrate on the vibration and other things and make the whole practice meaningless. Let me make that very clear. This preparatory exercise is just to show that you are starting the practice and you are stimulating your prana in certain manner that it will be supportive for your thoughts. That's all. It will be supportive for the contemplation. So first, let us start with the 3 shariras for the practice. How to do? First of all, we need to concentrate on each part of our body and think that it is mine. It belongs to me. It belongs to me. If this particular portion is removed from my body, still I remain the whole. This is not a mantra or anything. You can think however you want, whichever language you want, whatever you want. But the concept is this. For example, you are concentrating on your feet. And how do you concentrate on your feet? Your feet is touching the ground. Or your feet is wearing socks. Don't visualize, just sense the feeling, that feeling of touch, whatever it is touching. For example, and mostly sitting and doing this practice is good. Don't lie down and do. You will surely sleep. So sitting and doing, while you are sitting, let us say you are sitting in a chair and doing this practice. There is no asana for this, any asana for this. Don't sit in Padmasana and do all those things. That's not required. Unless until that is the most comfortable position for you, don't do that. Okay, because Thiram Shukam Asanam is the definition Patanjali is giving. It should be stable, it should be comfortable. So your feet is touching the ground, so feel that sensation of touch. So if this feet is removed from my body, still I will call this body as mine. So this feet is not me. Then calf muscles. My clothes are touching my calf muscles. Be with that sensation for, let us say, 10-20 seconds. Then knees. The cloth is touching my knees. It is a little bit pressing or tight over there because it is stretching there. So that sensation. Thighs, that sensation. Genitals, that sensation. And then stomach. Most of the body you can you use the sensation of touch, except your face. We will come to that later. Most of the body, just feel the connection between the clothing that you are wearing and the skin. So that is sufficient for concentrating on that part of the body. This is a very easy trick that I am teaching you for doing dharana. Deshabandhaha chittasya dharana. That is, stopping the chitta in one particular place is called as dharana. It can be outside or it can be a part of the body. There is a huge fight going on, as I told you, about this Vijnana Bhikshu school and then other schools. They are fighting between this. So if it is outside the body, then we have so many problems. Connecting to something outside is very, very hard, and it will always be Dvaitik. So when we are doing Advaita sadhana, we will always connect with that which is most intimate to us, because we want to realize I am not this body. And then this is for the body, for the Stula Sharira, or for the Annamaya Kosha, both are same, one and the same. Then going on for the Manomaya Kosha. Oh, I'm sorry, I did not complete the uncovered portions. So uncovered portions, okay, for example face, hands, or if you are having a if your forearm is not covered by your shirt or your top, then that portion, easiest thing to do is feel the touch of the air on that portion. Immediately dharana will happen. Just like that dharana will happen. And dharana can be disturbed by certain things like itching in another portion of the body, or a sudden sensation in another portion of the body. That is fine. Whichever portion of the body you are currently contemplating on, just maintain your dharana in that particular portion, and that is sufficient. You don't have to worry about your concentration slipping, or doing any prayashita for that. All those thoughts are unnecessary. Okay, so basically what we are doing here is we are concentrating the sense of touch of our clothing on each part of the body, and wherever clothing is not there, then the sense of touch of the air on that particular part of the body, and we are feeling that particular part of the body, and we are doing the dharana for that particular part of the body. And then we are thinking, if this portion is removed from my body, I still remain me. So this belongs to me, it is not me. It is mine, it is not me. So think this thought, and whatever thought strings are coming along with that, you just think about it, whatever other philosophies you have read, whatever it is. But don't take any conflicting philosophy here. I am not asking you not at all to listen to conflicting philosophy. I am only saying, for the duration of the practice, don't take conflicting philosophy. And this practice can be done for any number of hours, no problems at all. Any number of hours, if you have the time, if you have the condition, you can do that. But minimum time is 25 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes. Do not get up within 25 minutes. Sitting and doing it for 5 minutes and then getting up and going away, that will not give you any kind of usage or any kind of benefit out of this practice. Minimum time is 20 to 25 minutes for doing this practice. Maximum time, there is no limit. This is not like meditation, wherein if you meditate for 6 hours, this will happen, that will happen. That is not the case here. You can do it for however long you want to. And we are not concentrating on anything like the spinal cord, especially when you concentrate on your back. Okay, you will think about concentrating on your spinal cord. All that yoga shenanigans will come in. Please don't do that. That is not required. That is not required. So that is for the body portion. We are finishing this sadhana from 20 to 25 minutes. So first 10 minutes we can do it for various parts of the body, and if this portion is removed, still I remain me. So this is not me, this is only mine. Then, sorry for the interruptions. So coming to the part of the mind, the next 10 minutes is going to be for the mind. That is, once you realize, or once you contemplate that I am not the body, immediately you need to concentrate on where these thoughts are generating from. You will find one center that can be here in the Anahata Chakra, or it can be in your head, wherever. So you will just find that center. It is not an easy task, it will take a lot of practice, but slowly you will start seeing that the thoughts are getting generated by a different agent, which is the mind. And even before the existence of this thought, I am there. Even after the removal of this thought, I am there. Various thoughts are mine, they belong to me, I am not those thoughts. So this is the way in which you need to contemplate. And this contemplation is not about who am I. This is more about who I am not. So this who am I contemplation, Ramana Maharshi has given, that is a huge sadhana that requires a lot of Guru Bhakti, that requires a lot of contemplation, that requires a lot of concentration of mind, and it is actually an abstract concept which has got a lot of sadhana to be done before you can achieve that. But this sadhana is for beginners. I am a beginner myself as well. So this sadhana is for beginners and it is very, very effective. So these 20 minutes, the first 10 minutes for the body, the second 10 minutes for watching the thoughts and seeing the agent of generation of the thought, and that agent is not me. So having this thought continuously, we are clarifying that I am not the mind. So once you reach this I am not the mind, then the sense that I am the mind and the body is the ignorance which also belongs to me, but I am not that ignorance. That is for the causal body. So this is the way in which the three shariras has to be contemplated upon. And once you finish this practice, at the end, just think about Adi Shankaracharya. You can Google, if you already do not know what he looks like, you can simply Google about Paramacharya or Adi Shankaracharya, one and the same. Just think about that form for at least some 1 minute and then open your eyes. And I forgot to mention a very important step. This has to be done with closed eyes. You can do it in the most comfortable position. Lying down position, avoid it if you can. Otherwise, if you think that by sitting you are having some back problem or something, that immediately back pain will start if you sit for 20 minutes, then you can lie down and do that, no problems. But try to avoid it as much as possible. So sitting down with your spine up, of course, you cannot slouch like this and do the practice. Sit like this normally. Don't go ramrod like this, and don't concentrate on the straightness of the spine, because if you concentrate on the straightness of the spine, then your entire dharana will be on your lower back. You will not be able to do dharana anywhere else. Your entire dharana will be on the lower back. So in order to avoid that, just be relaxed, but keep your spine in a straight position, not erect but in a straight position, and do this practice. You can do this once a day minimum. Maximum you can do it 3 times a day. Even if you are able to do it beyond that, well and good, no problems. But the average is like thrice a day or once a day minimum. So that is the requirement for this practice. And by doing this practice, you are able to identify yourself apart from the other agents. That being said, we will end this session. दच्चं योरा वृणीमहे गातुं यज्ञाय गातुं यज्ञपतये दैवी स्वस्तिरस्तु नः स्वस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः ऊर्ध्वं जिगाद वेषजं शन्नो अस्तु द्विपतये शञ्चतुष्पतये ओं शान्तिः 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 नमः सदसे।